everyone. I'm Steve here with the Gut Girl. Thanks for being with us, Nicole.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we're going to talk about visceral fat, one of my favorite topics. And I said something before we got on that you couldn't stop laughing. I said, "You got visceral fat, you're circling the drain, right?"
Yes, I tickled my funny bone.
Yeah, so visceral fat is not good. Visceral fat is that you see it on a lot of guys, and you'll see their legs are lean, their arms are lean, they're lean, and they can be really fit. But then they got this gut that's like if you hit it, it's like a round drum. That's
Yes,
not good. You're
not at all.
circling the drain. So, what would you say just to get us started about visceral fat, Nicole?
Oh, I'm with you. And one of the things that drives me nuts, and I'll probably get really killed with this one, but I hate to see men who look amazing in their arms and their upper body, and then they have this drum. It just drives me nuts. I'm
A
like, what are you
round
doing?
drum.
Yes, this round drum. I'm like, you put so much work into everything. Why aren't you doing something there? But visceral fat is really, really toxic. It surrounds the organs, stomach, liver, intestines. It surrounds the organs and it makes it really, it just shoots up everything in your lab work. It's really bad. It inhibits cancer, blood pressure, and we were just talking about studies. I was so funny when I was preparing to do this. This morning, I'm watching the news, and they have this big study on visceral fat and how it is contributing to the new type 3 diabetes, which is essentially dementia. So they're saying that this visceral fat really contributes to that because it surrounds the organs. You need to get that away from there. It's different from subcutaneous fat. Us women are always really concerned about subcutaneous fat that's right underneath the skin that gives you that dimply look. That's not so bad considering visceral fat.
Right.
Visceral fat is when we have that menopause belly and we've got the fat surrounding our organs.
Now, right there, the usually this isn't a danger for most women until after menopause, right? The visceral fat.
Yeah. Well, because, this is kind of twofold. We're really, and this isn't everybody, but we're really conscious and we really keep that fat away from our bellies, up until that time. But when we hit perimenopause and menopause, that becomes really difficult to keep at bay because estrogen promotes visceral fat. If you're more estrogen dominant, you could have more visceral fat, and that's what causes the menopause belly and really hard to get it out of that area.
Okay, so we know that we can't spot reduce or choose where our body's going to burn fat, but it seems to me that that would be the first fat that your body wants to get rid of, right?
So yes,
Is everyone the same? No, because we
no.
talked about the little skinny, the lean arms. Okay,
Oh
well,
yeah.
their bodies aren't wanting to get rid of the visceral fat, but uh, go ahead. And then I have a question about what do you think causes it? So,
Well, and the other thing too is you guys, be conscious of what if you're really doing everything you can and you can't get that belly fat off, then you need to dig deeper into why that's being caused into visceral fat, why that fat is shifting into that. That's important. Get some lab work done and have somebody look at that to see, do you have a bacterial overgrowth? Do you have hormone issues like we just talked about? That's a big deal. There's a way to get menopause belly off, but you got to find out what's happening with the hormones. Just because you went into menopause doesn't mean you're stopped producing hormones. It just shifted to a different place. Um,
so um, the visceral fat. Now, again, I try to avoid saying all or never, and everyone's the same, obviously. But what do you think, in general, is the main culprit of visceral fat?
oh, you guys, one of my biggest things that I am a huge stickler about, and I am these things do not come into my house. There are a few things that I'm like, that's hard to avoid. I do not let seed oils anywhere near my mouth or my home. If I can take seed out oils out of everybody's diet, that's exactly where that spikes and comes into and causes a million other problems.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. In my opinion, processed foods and seed oils. And seed oils are in all processed foods pretty much, right?
Exactly. They go hand in hand.
Right. So seed oils are everywhere in everything. And I mean, you can't even go out to a restaurant unless it's a really high end restaurant and eat the salad dressing, right?
Oh gosh, no. Yeah, salad dressing is one of the biggest culprits of seed oils. Unless you're just strictly olive oil, you know.
You guys, that reminds me, if you want a good salad dressing, Primal Kitchen, the link is in the description. Use the promo code Vitality1. They make their salad dressings and condiments and stuff from avocado oil, and they have
Hmm.
everything's organic. And I don't know, do you use that product?
I use Primal Kitchen all the time. I use their avocado. I use their dressings. I use a lot of their stuff. I use Primal Kitchen, a lot of their collagen products
They're
as
not
well.
putting seed oils in. I mean, we're getting sidetracked, but
Yeah.
it, you just made me think of that. Um, so what do you recommend for someone to, again, we talk about this all the time. We don't know. We can't say that someone is obese because they're an overeater. I don't know. I can't judge them. But there is a problem. Something's wrong. And the saddest thing is when these people try, and eat less and less and less, and nothing works.
Yes.
So, what's your first go to step, so to speak, if someone's got visceral fat and you want to eliminate it? What's the first thing that you try? I guess it's remove seed oils, right?
We do.
But give us some
Absolutely.
ideas.
I do an elimination diet to start out with, and I really focus with my clients to work on building up their protein amounts. That's really big when I talk to clients because most of my clients are not eating enough protein or the right proteins. We also talk about exercise. They go hand in hand, and you also have to lower stress levels. If you're running around completely stressed out and not sleeping, visceral fat is going to come on and it's going to come on fast. So sleep has got to be a priority. The other thing that I always tell people, and this is a big thing around the holidays, you guys, processed sugar for sure, because everybody's eating it right now, but also limit your alcohol intake because that liver is very important to this process. So limit the alcohol intake. There's a ton of parties right now. You don't have to drink all the alcohol at these parties. You can go and
You don't
enjoy
have to
people.
drink it all
You don't. You really, I can enjoy
to where
people
they
without.
have none left.
I mean, I'm just as fun.
You know, the first three things you listed there weren't food. You said exercise, stress, and sleep.
Mhm.
Exercise exercise affects visceral fat. And
Oh,
I've heard
hugely.
that sprinting and high intensity type
Mhm.
exercises are better for visceral fat than distance stuff like running. But
Absolutely.
stress, more visceral fat.
Oh,
Um,
without a doubt.
and mo- so the stress and the sleep.
Mhm.
That's
Huge.
good. Sleep is huge.
Huge. I can't stress enough to you. I'll just quickly, I'm going to tell you, I have a client who he cannot get his sleep under control. Cannot. It's to to him sleep is like a candy bar to someone else. He just doesn't sleep, and we cannot get his levels lowered to save our lives until he did a little. I just said, give me just focus on 2 days at a time. 2 days of getting to bed before 11 o'clock. And he did 2 days at a time. Then we worked on the next 2 days. he started to get into the pattern and all of his levels lowered, and he started to have he has itching of the skin because he has terrible bacteria, eczema. It started to go away, all because of sleep.
Wow. Yeah, sleep is a big one, getting your hormones right. It's just not as simple as calories in, calories out, is it, Nicole?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I'm going to shut up before I get us both going on that again. So, any last comment that you'd like to add to this?
Well, don't eat processed sugar during these holidays, and don't be stressed during the holidays because holidays brings on stress.
Wow, that is a pretty tall order. I mean, the sugar thing is easy. I just don't eat it. I don't eat any of it. But, well, I'm not stressed on the holidays either, but aren't you supposed to be stressed on the holidays?
Try not to be, but I'll tell you what, November 1st comes and it seems very stressful.
Yeah. All right. Well, Nicole, how do people get a hold of you if they want to reach out to you?
You can reach me at thegutgirl1@gmail.com.
So that's the gut girl, the number one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks for being with us, Nicole.
Thanks for having me.